Good afternoon. 'Tis I, the man of many titles. Once again, I'm here in one of my favorite game series of all time, Splatoon. Specifically Splatoon 3, because today's December 1st, the first day of the chill season. You might notice I'm in some interesting gear reminiscent of old gear from Splatoon 1, especially the white anchor tee, along with my trusty splatter scope, one of my favorite weapons of choice. Why, you might ask? We're going on recon, because I'm on a bit of a nostalgia trip. The two new stages for this season are Robo-Roman, okay, sure, and Bluefin Depot, a stage I've been desperately hoping that would come back in this game, and it has. Thank goodness we won't have to be without this stage after April when the Wii U online service goes down. But speaking of Bluefin Depot, I really like something about this stage this time. Something I like about this stage is that it wasn't completely neutered like it was in, like the Mahi Mahi Resort stage was. And yeah, this stage, dare I say it, it's actually better than the version of the stage from Splatoon 1. For one thing, the spawn point's bigger. Like, you can tell it's a lot bigger than it once was in Splatoon 1. So, yeah, I'm actually happy about that. Another thing that's really cool about this stage, though, is the Splat Zone and Splat Zones. The Splat Zone and Splat Zones is actually somewhat interesting, in that when you paint it, it goes to the left side of the stage. As soon as I can actually get the thing painted enough anyways. When the zone gets painted, it moves along that little conveyor belt on the top, and it moves to the left side of the stage in comparison to your side. Also, that little barrier thing that's usually in the middle of the stage is usually gone until you paint the zone. Now, assumedly, when the zone gets repainted back into neutral territory, we'll go back to the middle. And then, when the zone gets painted in the enemy color, it goes to the right side. So yeah, it is somewhat interesting. I did not mean to do that. Anyways, speaking of water, though. Speaking of water, as soon as I can get into this in a moment, in tower control, something interesting about the path of the tower is that the tower starts in the middle as per usual. The tower starts off in the middle of the stage as per usual, but something interesting about the tower this time is that it's no longer over water. I guess they finally changed this for the safety of all the Inklings and Octolings participating in these turf war battles, you know? Because, as you might remember, Inklings can't swim. So yeah, I do like that. The tower is no longer over water, but I think that doesn't really change things for the worse here. If anything, things are still about the same as you might remember from Splatoon 1. Overall, I will say that this stage is mostly better than Splatoon 1, but there are a few problems with this stage. There are a few problems with this stage that I can think of in decent memory. So if we go into Rainmaker for a moment, one thing you'll notice about Bluefin Depot right away compared to its original counterpart is that Bluefin Depot does not have any grates anywhere on the stage. Unlike its Splatoon 1 counterpart, there were grates on this stage. But here, the grates are nowhere to be found, which can be a bit of a problem, really, especially in Rainmaker. So, first off, let me just talk about these elevators real quick. The elevators are really simple. The elevators are really simple in that once you actually get on the elevator, it moves up, and when you step off the elevator, it moves down. Rather obvious, I should think. And the sides of the walls of the elevator are also inkable. So if somebody stands on the elevator, you can actually move up the sides of the walls too. But what this means for Rainmaker is that when you're holding the Rainmaker, you basically have one of two routes. You either stand on the elevator, which leaves you open to attack, or if you don't want to do that, you can instead use the inkable walls on the sides and move around that way, though you're going to be in a bit of a bottleneck first. There are two Rainmaker routes. You can either go from the left side, which is technically faster, or you can instead go through the right side, which actually does make a little more sense, even if it's a slightly longer route. However, something to keep in mind is that both sides have their disadvantages. You can take the elevator on either side. If you take the right side, though, you have to take the elevator, or you have to go all the way, you have to retreat a little bit, go on this side, walk around, and then get the Rainmaker onto the podium this way. And immediately after that, you take the Rainmaker once again, walk up this ramp, walk across this open space, which there are no grates, by the way, so it's still pretty open, and then climb up the podium this way. Okay, whatever. Attacking side doesn't really have the easiest time, right? You know what makes this miserable for defenders? The second route that I mentioned is still outright safer for the Rainmaker carrier, because they don't have to actually jump up in uninkable blocks to get to the end. They can just walk up this side. But you want to know what's even more annoying? In all of the modes, there's this gosh darn uninkable block in the way of where you would normally try to get past both sides. There's a ramp on the right side, but not on the left, meaning that if you jump down the left side, in any mode that isn't Rainmaker, you basically have to jump back to spawn. To show you that I'm not kidding, just a moment. In splat zones or say tower control, when you actually get in, yeah, you can drop down the right side, same as per usual. Blah blah blah, whatever, you can just have fun down here. Then you go up this side, and when you come down this side, oh no, I'm trapped. I mean, there is this, so you can get back, but I'm pretty sure this is fully uninkable in tower control. I might be wrong, but yeah, it's basically a sudden drop where if you come down here from the left side, then you're basically super jumping back to spawn, or using a very specific edge of the block to get back up there. Why couldn't they have just gotten rid of this particular block? In the original Bluefin Depot, you could just move from this side to this side by just walking or swimming. But you can't do this in Splatoon 3. This gosh darn forsaken block is just a really big menace. It's probably the one thing that irks me about this stage, but in all other aspects, I would say that this map is actually good. I would say that this map is actually better than its Splatoon 1 variant in pretty much every way, except this one little thing. And like, I'm probably not the only one to think this either, but still, it's something I just figured I'd have to say, you know? Otherwise, I do like Bluefin Depot and the way that they've redone it in this map. 10 out of 10. Okay, so this is here in all other modes, so I don't know what I was talking about, but it's still not the most convenient way to get back up here. Anyways, the other fact that there are no grates anywhere on the map is a bit of a pain, especially in Rainmaker, because for the attacking team, it's just somewhat easy to get the Rainmaker, but for the defending team, there are no ways to keep the Rainmaker holder out. There are no real grates anywhere, but that's just a small little thing that irks me. I guess the reason that there are no grates anymore is because this place has been repaired somewhat since Splatoon 1. And so, because of this, there are no grates. But I think that's pretty much just the Hammerhead Bridge problem all over again. I am glad that they repaired this place enough, though, that the tower no longer spawns over water. Because again, Inklings can't swim. But anyways, that's all I can say for you today as far as my thoughts on Bluefin Depot's rework. I especially like that the spawn point is much bigger than the original because it was really dinky before, really small, really tiny, puny even. And yeah, I don't think you can really get spawn camped up here. Not easily anyways. But what do you guys think about the Bluefin Depot rework? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I'd like to know. In the meantime, thank you so much, and thank you so much for having such a wonderful, wonderful time just listening to my thoughts on this nostalgic map, That's all for now. Bye-bye.